Hello there! From our childhood onward, I'm sure we've all had those motion pictures we've watched a bunch of times. Either it's because we cannot get enough of them, or it's one of those titles you watched a lot as a child. Because, let's face it, children love watching their favorite video cassettes and DVDs over and over again. That's why most of these are family films. I also don't have the exact estimates, but this seems about right based on my memory of watching these titles over and over again. So, let's begin counting down the top films I've watched the most. Modern Times. Charlie Chaplin's greatest film in my opinion. While The Gold Rush was the first Chaplin I ever watched, Modern Times was the one that officially got me considering him as my favorite director. The satire is so bold and brilliant, and every time I watch it, I find myself laughing at what's on screen. For a time, it was actually my #1 all-time favorite film, until it was beaten by WALL-E some years later. I guess I have a thing for social commentaries about silent characters who manage to break free from their repetitive jobs. Each frame is so delicately directed, and even though I've seen Chaplin's other work a bunch of times as well, Modern Times is the one I find myself getting back to the most. The Producers, the musical version. While this film adaptation of the hit stage musical was dismissed by critics and audiences, I found a lot to appreciate with it. Director Susan Stroman simply transported the show to film as if she filmed a live production. A lot of people dismiss this as being lazy, but I think it's a bargain, as you're essentially getting the Broadway musical in your hands for a bargain price. Every time I think I might have grown tired watching it, I give another look and it still holds up after many viewings. Even though I see every single joke coming, I still manage to spot the occasional sight gag in the background. This is easily the longest film on this list, but it doesn't drag for me and does not stop being entertaining. The musical numbers are too much fun, and this also contains some of the finest work from the likes of Nathan Lane, Matthew Broderick, Uma Thurman, and Will Ferrell. And I still hold hope of it gaining a cult audience many years from now. Shrek. When the Green Ogre first appeared on the big screen in 2001, it was a massive phenomenon, and I was gladly a part of that huge fan base. When it opened, it was one of those films everybody had to see, and in a way, it also helped the DVD take down the slowly dying VHS format. I'm partly to blame for that as well, since Shrek was one of the first DVDs I ever got. And I watched it a lot to the point of memorization, and I think it might be the first audio commentary I ever listened to. Into adulthood, I still find myself continuing to put the DVD into the player. Though all that I got, I also understood jokes I didn't understand the first time. I've also seen Shrek 2 a good number of times, but the third and fourth chapters were major disappointments. Nonetheless, it's impressive how Shrek managed to hold up on multiple viewings. This is going to be fun. We can stay late, swapping manly stories in the morning. I'm making waffles. Yeah, I said that a lot when I was 12. Asterix vs. Caesar. Though I really liked reading the adventures of Asterix and Obelix in the comic book pages, I actually didn't watch a lot of the animated features made of these heroic Gauls. However, my family did own a video copy of Asterix vs. Caesar, the absolutely delightful film version of Asterix the Gladiator and Asterix the Legionary. It was incredibly funny from start to finish, with the right blending of humor and adventure we expect from these characters. One sequence I always liked was when Asterix and Obelix train as Roman soldiers and cause all kinds of havoc. It was funny sequences like that that made me feel like watching it often and always. Is it any surprise that Paul and Gaetan Brizzi, the twin team who directed the film, went on to work at Disney as sequence directors? The comic books are wonderful, and so is Asterix vs. Caesar. Monsters, Inc. This is another one I watched a lot to the point of practically memorizing the whole screenplay. Pixar's entire filmography has a certain impact on me where I enjoy all their films more on multiple viewings, and the 2001 effort is no exception. However, it wasn't just the feature itself that I rewatched so much, but all the bonus features on the DVD as well, which taught me a lot about the impressive world of filmmaking and the incredible utopia of movie magic that is Pixar. Of course, this is a highly enjoyable flick with great characters, wonderful humor, immense heart. It's no surprise that I find myself viewing this genuine piece of great cinema quite often. The Care Bears Adventures in Wonderland. Now, I know what you're thinking, but truth be told, I haven't actually watched this since the mid-90s. However, when I was a toddler, I was really into the Care Bears, and I watched their television show and this forgotten feature film over and over and over and over and over again. Come on, they're bears with the ability to burst the power of love from their stomachs. What's not to like? And when you're 5 years old, Care Bears is cinematic art of the highest order. That said, I've not seen Care Bears Adventures in Wonderland in eons, and so I have no idea if it still holds up. Yet I remember so much from it to the point where I'm able to remember scenes instantly whenever I see clips from it. So I guess it still kind of holds a special place in my heart, no pun intended. Though oddly enough, I've not seen the first 2 entries in the Care Bears trilogy. Aladdin. Leave it to the Mouse House to make films that I'll watch over and over again. It's a large part of the reason why they're able to move their home video units off the shelves. Aladdin pretty much has all the ingredients for an animated classic, with its excellent animation, unforgettable songs, and its fun story and set of characters. However, I think the reason we came back to watch it was to see the genie. Robin Williams imbued so much energy into that character, he pretty much is involved with the film's best bits. Combine Williams' manic comedy skills with a fast-paced and Avery-inspired animation from Eric Goldberg, and is it any wonder it found its way into our video players more often than not? And I should point out that the rest of this list comes from the same studio. I wonder why. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The first Disney animated feature, I find it hard not to marvel at its astonishing quality. Think about this, it's almost 75 years old, and it is still being watched by many people today. It's a simple story told so eloquently, and while Snow White comes off as rather naive to me now, I still think it's a fantastic film that does not feel old in the least. Not only have I seen it multiple times on video cassette, it was also the first animated film I ever had the pleasure of witnessing on Blu-ray, and it still looks stunning. In my opinion, Snow White is one of the essentials for any home video collection. Beauty and the Beast. Now I'm sure most of you have seen this plenty of times as well, but for me it is sort of a different case, as the version on my shelf, and thus the one I grew up watching, was the work-in-progress edition screened at the New York Film Festival. Don't know why, but that's the copy we had. In a way, it was my first introduction to the incredible hard work it takes to put an animated film together, as the scenes are interspliced with storyboards and rough animation. It's a fantastic way to watch it, though when I was younger I never quite understood why there were patches on Belle's cheeks. I actually never got to see Beauty and the Beast fully colored and finished until the IMAX reissue that came out about 10 years ago, which is still one of the best cinematic experiences I've ever had. I'm also incredibly impressed with the stunningly beautiful Blu-ray transfer, though I'm disappointed that the only way to watch the work-in-progress edition is to watch the DVD that comes with the combo pack. I want to see my storyboards and unfinished animation in HD, thank you very much. Beauty and the Beast is actually my favorite Disney animated film, and one I'll definitely continue to watch many times over the years. Toy Story. Okay, we're entering obsession level viewings right now. This is one of those where, right from the opening logo, I was awestruck by the technological wizardry that John Lasseter and his crew unleashed on the screen. Of course, it helps that this was an excellent work of art with a fantastic story that was a break from the animation guidelines that Disney had set down many years ago. When my family bought the video cassette, I watched it constantly because I simply could not get enough of Woody and Buzz, and of course those aliens. My obsession with Toy Story was to the point where its sequel was one of the first films I was hyped up for. And you can bet I saw the 3D double feature from a couple years ago, and then upgraded to the Blu-ray edition. Toy Story has not aged a day since its release in 1995, and I don't think it will. The older I got, the more I appreciated it even more, especially on the writing level. I am very serious when I say that Toy Story has one of the best structured screenplays of all time and should be studied in every writing course. For all the accomplishments Pixar has done since then, Toy Story still remains one of the all-time best and most replayable, and is the main thing I'll always remember Steve Jobs for being responsible for bringing to the world. Inspector Gadget. You're probably sick and tired of me talking about it so much, but I saw it so much that it's completely ingrained in my brain. It's why I'm unable to watch it without nostalgia goggles tightly on, and why I will never stop liking it. I mentioned how hyped I was for Toy Story 2, well, this even more so. While everyone else was excited for The Phantom Menace that summer, I was pumped for Inspector Gadget. I still think I got the better deal. The fact that it's so short might also explain why I watched it so much, and even as an adult, I still find myself watching it once in a while. In fact, I'm eagerly awaiting when Disney releases it on Blu-ray. Get on that, Mickey, because I'm going to be the first, well, only person in line. But still, I understand its flaws and why people hate it so much, and I even think people making fun of it is one of the funniest things ever. But I'm sorry, I really, really like it. And the film I've estimated to have watched the most is The Lion King. I honestly would not be surprised if most of you who are part of my generation said, yeah, me too. Ever since 1994, The Lion King has enchanted many people who want to return to the jungle again and again. I am old enough to have seen it on its original release, and I loved it a lot. Soundtrack? Have it. Toys? Have them. Lunchbox? Have it. If we were to count how many times I've watched The Lion King, it would total probably over 300 or so. Given how incredibly popular it has become, there seems to be an unfortunate trend to nitpick every little detail, from music decisions to the voice acting to possible accusations of plagiarism. But I think The Lion King is one of those where secretly everybody kind of likes it, even those who say they don't. That is the power of The Lion King. You say you don't like the songs, you don't know the words, but you do. You secretly do. Needless to say, I absorbed myself in The Lion King. I watched the Timon and Pumbaa television series. I even behaved myself for a brief period, simply so I could go to the stage show. And I definitely saw the 3D reissue that came out a couple months ago. And though I was disappointed by the extra dimension, I still had a fantastic experience seeing it on the big screen again. And you can bet I got the recent Diamond Edition Blu-ray. The Lion King is still amazing, no matter how many times it is watched, and that is a key to its success. I was lucky enough to attend a preview screening of Happy Feet 2 this week, and the director George Miller was there and said something very true. That there is a reason why family films are watched over and over again, because these are stories worth revisiting over multiple generations that still manage to appeal over the ages. It's why most of these entries are family efforts, because they're made with the right care to survive many years down the road. These are flicks I won't mind watching until I'm over 100 years old. See you next time. Oh, and I know you're going to go off right now and watch The Lion King. Admit it.